Those who are in uniform, please salute the flag. Those not in uniform, place your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank you from all of us in the Hale family for taking the time out of your lives to come here today as a community to celebrate Staff Sergeant Aaron Hale's courage under fire, his story of survival, and his accomplishments as a soldier, a husband, a father, a friend, and a member of our community. At this time, we will hold a moment of silence for all Revere alumni who have served their country in uniform. And we would also like to dedicate the playing of taps to Gunny Sergeant Robert Gilbert III, class of 2000.
Actually, I have no idea what I'm about to say. In the meantime, I'll let you know. Guy's waiting at a crosswalk, waiting for the light to tell him to walk, and a blind guy comes walking up the side of with his guide dog. And this gentleman notices the blind man with his guide dog, and the guide dog lifts his leg, starts peeing all over the blind man's pant leg. The sighted man says, "Did you know that your dog is peed on your leg?" As the blind man's reaching into his pocket to hand the dog a treat, he says, "Yeah, it's a terrible habit. I'm trying to break him of it." The guy goes, "Well, why are you giving him a treat?" He said, "Well, I got to find out what the head is so I know where to kick him in the butt." First, how about those kids? Mr. Holko, thank you. The penalty actually was a 3-day suspension out of the school. He said finally, "I have to do something. The school board's going to breathe it down my neck." So, if you admit to it, which I pretty much never did, I will give you a 3-day out of school suspension. My reply to Mr. Principal Holko was, "Can I start that on a Wednesday?" I did it. And to Mr. Johnson, I apologize for the cheapness of the meeting, but there was quite a few vending machines. Later that day, Mr. Head Coach Johnson caught up with me and he said, "That's pretty funny. I didn't know what to do when I got my beer. Throw it away or dive into the teacher's lounge." But gosh, I go off to war, and I defuse bombs for a living. And what do I hear when I get back to Revere? Oh my God, you're the vending machine thing. It's been a year since the incident. Since then, I've gone through surgeries, gone through rehabilitation. It's been a very difficult year. But I am one of the luckiest guys in the world, and I'll tell you why. If it weren't for the series of circumstances, beginning with my decision to join the Army, if it weren't for joining the Army, I wouldn't have met my wife. She didn't know what she had herself cut out for, or what was ahead of her. But she's handled everything with a plum. While undergoing rehabilitation in Augusta, yes, my wife was diagnosed with melanoma. And if it weren't for my injuries, we may not have caught that in time. And we would have been short of one very large part today. Our children are so strong, so smart, and had to grow up a little bit faster than the average everyday kid. I'm still growing up, and they're light years ahead of me. My mother, who has to deal with both of her sons. To go through what she's had to go through, it's pretty awful. I couldn't imagine something like the injuries both my brother and I have sustained. If you folks don't know, my brother was injured on the job here outside of Youngstown years ago. And I'm very glad and feel lucky that he's here with us. But I can't imagine having to go through that with my children. I love them to death, and sorry, I promised I wouldn't cry. If the Army finds out that I cry, I lose my stripes. But thank you all for coming out and helping us celebrate our Live Day. And it's all of us. My brethren in arms, brothers and sisters, some of them didn't make it back. Some of them do with injuries, but they make it back. And it's not just Iraq and Afghanistan, but imagine, there's no way I would have had this kind of a turnout a generation past. And those of you that out there in the audience that have served in Korea or Vietnam or the Great War, you know, this is amazing. And it's humbling, and I thank you. And I wouldn't be here yet today, even after my injury, if it weren't for my beautiful, strong wife, who is the strength of the family, keeps the kids together and keeps an honoring blind guy who's always grumpy in order. And thank you to my wife. So it's wonderful that you're here, and I appreciate you helping me celebrate my Live Day, my very first one. And just when I was starting to get to that point where I wasn't looking forward to the next birthday because it just meant I was getting older, now I've got a second anniversary birthday date, but I'm starting back at 1. Thank you all.